Senate will come back to order. Okay, we're going to take up some state and local consent calendar. Easy things here. Excuse me, committee report on local bills here, and we have several bills here. Secretary, read the caption.
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Government has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 805 do pass. House Bill 806 do pass. House Bill 760 do pass. House Bill 800 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Ginn of the 47th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
All right, here we go. Senate will come to order. Senate will come to order. We're going to do some special actions to start off with. And I recognize the senator from the 3rd for a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we insist on the Senate amendment to House substitute for Senate Bill 246.
Senators move that we insist on the amendment to Senate Bill 246. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 246 by Senator Hodges III and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 10 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Georgia Board of Healthcare Workforce so as to provide for student loan repayment for certain nursing faculty, to provide for definitions, to authorize the board to approve applications, to provide for eligibility requirements, to provide for continued eligibility requirements. The House offers the following substitute to Senate Bill 246, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 7 of Chapter 3 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to the Georgia Student Finance Authority so as to provide for inclusive post-secondary education. That completes the order, Mr. President.
I recognize the senator from the 3rd to speak to the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. This body previously approved Senate Bill 246. It was a bill to address a workforce shortage in our nursing population by increasing the number of teaching nurses, and we did that by setting up a fund to repay up to $100,000 in student loan debt to any nurse agreeing to teach rather than practice for a 5-year period. We sent that to the House. In the original bill that we passed, there was no limitation to where the nurse taught, either in a university system school or a technical college or in a private school. The House amended the bill to take out private schools, sent it back to us. We amended the bill today to allow the private schools to participate in this program, and the reason behind that was so we could have more nursing classes and more nurses. And still think that's a wonderful idea, and I believe that we should hold to that and insist our amendment be maintained. I'll yield for any questions, Mr. President.
You have no questions, Senator.
Thank you. Yield the well.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Hearing none. The action is on the senator from the 3rd has insisted on the amendment to the House substitute to Senate Bill 246. Without objection, no, is there objection? With no objection, Senate has insisted. Senator from the 48th. Senator from the 48th. Senator from 48, you're gonna be a little earlier than what you're supposed to be here because it looks like we're missing some conferees. So I can recognize you for Senate Bill 145.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to disagree to House substitute to SB 145 and send it back to the House.
The senators move that the Senate disagree with the House substitute to Senate Bill 145. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 145 by Senator Stiller of the 48th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 60 of Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to general provisions applicable to counties and municipal corporations so as to prohibit local regulations that create differing standards for or distinguish gasoline-powered leaf blowers from similar equipment. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator, unless you want to speak to it, I think your position is you disagree to the House's position, and if there's no objection, the Senate just stands in a disagreement. You fine with that, Senator? Okay. Any objection? All right, Senate has disagreed to the House's position on SB 145. Good. Recognize the Senator from the 56th.
Mr. President, I move the Senate insist on its amendment to Senate Bill 13.
The Senator has moved that the Senate insists on their position on SB 13. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 13 by Senator Albers of the 56th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Sections 9-13-161, 44-14-162, and 48-4-1 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to where and when sales under execution held and change of place of public sales by court order, sales made on foreclosure under power of a sale, and procedures for sales under tax levies and executions, respectively. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator would you like to speak to the Senator has insisted on the Senate's position. Is there objection? Without objection, the Senator is living on to fight another day, insisting to his position. Where? Recognize the Senator from the 17th.
Mr. President, I move the Senate agree to the House substitute to Senate Bill 133.
Senator from the 17th has moved that we agree to the House amendment to SB 133. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 133 by Senator Strickland of the 17th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 11 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to the juvenile code so as to create a uniform process to assume custody of children as a result of disposition orders. The House offers the following substitute to Senate Bill 133, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 11 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to the juvenile code so as to create a uniform process to assume custody of children as a result of disposition orders. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the Senator from the 17th to speak to the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wouldn't have much luck in the House. I finally just agreed to something they did. But in all seriousness, Senate Bill 133, you all voted this out 53-1. back earlier this year. And this is a bill that deals with juvenile proceedings and custody being awarded in different ways around our state from the bench. And without getting into too many of the weeds on this, you have the dependency cases with the whole process set up after a child is awarded to the state. You have CHINS cases and you have delinquency cases. And there's a law you'll see in Section 1 of the bill that deals with dual designation, where we have the authority to find a child dependent in these other two types of cases. The problem is the law doesn't say what happens next. And so what we did with this bill, if you remember when I presented it, which you probably don't, presented the first time, there was some concern we have from juvenile court judges, and I committed this body to keep working on the language to make sure we still had some flexibility for our judges around the state while having due process built up and making certain that whenever it's possible, DFACS is at the table when a child is handed over to them. So I can tell you a lot of work went into this. We had a lot of work on the House side. The changes you'll see in front of you is just taking the current version and trying to give more flexibility to the courts at the same time. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has, but I can tell you this is a bill that will create due process rights for families, children, parents involved where custody is being awarded to the state from the bench, but at the same time, it's also going to make sure we do everything we can to bring DFACS to the table in these cases, so we're not just handing over kids without information to DFACS, with the ultimate goal being not just due process rights being built into the law, but also hoping we're getting ahead of the hoteling issue we've seen, and we're looking at other alternatives for kids before they go into state custody. With that, Mr. President, I'm happy to answer any questions.
You have no questions, Senator.
I ask for your favorable consideration, Senate Bill 133.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? I will say this will complete our initiative with that senator from the 32nd, the chair lady of the Children and Family Committee, and I want to thank the chairman of Judiciary, Senator from the 17th, for helping out. We had 4 big initiatives out of that new committee, and this will represent the last bill to be agreed upon. So I want to thank y'all for your hard work on that. I'm anticipating it's going to be a good vote right now. Anyways, thank y'all for that very much. If there's no objection, all those in favor of the measure will vote aye. All opposed, no. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 48, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Recognize the senator from the 30th.
Thank you, Mr. President. The actions taken by the House have been a travesty on good governance. Thus, I move that the Senate insist on its substitute to HB 514.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. The senator has passionately moved that the Senate insists on its position on House Bill 514. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 514 by Representative Washburn of the 144th and others. A bill to be entitled, an act to amend Chapter 66 of Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to zoning procedures, so as to provide for the length and renewal of moratoriums related to zoning decisions, to provide for legislative findings, to provide procedures for the levy, collection, use, and waiver of fees related to zoning decisions and related permits, to revise notice and hearing requirements for certain zoning decisions. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Would you like to speak to the measure, Senator?
Mr. President, I am so incensed right now. It would probably be better if they would just support and let's just vote to insist on our position.
We want you to contain your motion, Senator. Senator has insisted. Is there objection? Without objection, Senator. Your team is letting you fight on another day. Senator from the 27th, you're on deck. Recognize Senator from the 27th for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate agree to the House amendment to Senate substitute for H.R. 256.
The Senator has moved that Senate agree to the House amendment to Senate substitute on H.R. 256. Secretary, read the caption.
House Resolution 256 by Representative Perkle of the 169th and others. A resolution honoring the life of Miss Sophia Ruth Fisher and dedicating an interchange in her memory and for other purposes. The House offers the following amendment to amend the Senate substitute to House Resolution 256 by striking lines 1 through the end and inserting in lieu thereof of the following. Dedicating certain portions of the state highway system, repealing a previous dedication, repealing conflicting laws, and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize Senator from the 27th to speak to the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this is our annual road naming bill. I believe we got all of your road namings in. Senator from the 44th, I confirmed yours is in there as well. So ask for your favorable consideration. With that, I yield the will.
Senator's yielded. Anyone like to speak for or against the measure? Senate Chair hears none. All those in favor of the Senator's motion will vote aye. All those opposed, no. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passes of the bill, the yeas are 49 and the nays are 0. This bill, having the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. You have before you a supplemental consent calendar of local bills. Mr. Secretary, have any objections been filed to any of the bills on the supplemental local consent calendar?
Mr. President, no objections have been filed.
Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the Committee on State and Local Government and Operations, which is favorable to the passage of the bills on the supplemental local consent calendar? Chair hears none, and the report of the committee is agreed to. Questions on the passage of the bill on the supplemental local consent calendar. All those in favor will vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 0. This bill on the supplemental local consent calendar, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. All right, the next 11 bills are bills that are going to be coming off the table. So, Senator from the 54, you're on deck. Recognize the senator from the 54th. Recognize the senator from the 54th for a motion.
Yes, Mr. President, I ask for unanimous, or ask for 183 to be lifted from the table.
The senators move that HB 183 be taken from the table. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 183 by Representative Barton of the 5th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 16-11-112 and Chapter 2 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to vehicles with false or secret compartments and registration and licensing of motor vehicles respectively, so as to revise terminology relating to temporary license plates and temporary operating permits to provide standards for the issuance of temporary operating permits for motor vehicles failing to comply with vehicle emission standards. That completes the order. Oh.
Three amendments.
Senator Goodman of the 8th and others offer the following amendment to amend House Bill 183 by replacing lines 1 through 6 with the following: to amend Code Section 16-11-112 and Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to vehicles with false or secret compartments and motor vehicles and traffic, respectively, so as to revise terminology relating to temporary license plates. Senator Goodman of the 8th and others offered the following amendment, Amendment 2, to amend House Bill 183 by replacing lines 1 through 6 with the following: to amend Code Section 16-11-112. Senator Jones of the 10th and others offered the following amendment, Amendment 3, to amend House Bill 183 by inserting before "to provide for related matters" on line 7 the following: to amend Code Section 40-6-163 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to duty of driver. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator has moved that House Bill 183 be taken from the table. Is there objection? Hearing none, I recognize the senator from the 54th to speak to the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. Friends, I bring a bill to you from the House Bill 183. This bill closes a loophole for Georgia law that would allow Georgia driver to obtain a temporary operating permit without a license, proof of insurance, and other legal requirements. This bill also reflects a change in industry and departmental terminology where temporary plates are now called temporary operating permits. Mr. President, if there are no questions, I will yield the well.
You have no questions, Senator.
I ask for your favorable consent.
We do have several amendments here, so we've got Amendment 1, Amendment 2, Amendment 3. Secretary Reed. I recognize the senator from the 8th to speak to Amendment 1. Or let me change that. I recognize the senator from the 56th to speak to amendment. Senator from the 8th is missing in action.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm glad to pinch hit for the senator from the 8th. These are just two small amendments for cleanup for the Department of Revenue. When someone gets a ticket, that it will not withhold the ability to title that car when they want to sell it, and it will also keep the Department of Revenue from having to get involved in that and spend millions of dollars in time. This is a simple to clean up bill, and I'd ask for your favorable consideration on both amendments 1 and 2. I'll yield the well.
Senators yielded the well. Recognize the senator, the senator from the 8th is author of the second amendment as well. Senator from the 29th, would you like to speak to this amendment? Or Senator from the 10th, would you like to speak to this amendment? Sir? Okay, he spoke to it? Okay. What about, and Senator, you've authored the amendment on the third amendment. Same amendment? Okay. All right. Well, now, would any other senator like to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objections to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Question is on amendment number 1. Is there objection to amendment number 1? Without objection, amendment number 1 is adopted. Question is on amendment number 2. Is there objection? Number 2 is adopted. Question is on amendment number 3. Is there objection? You want to object, don't you? Without objection, amendment number 3 is added. So, is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill as amended. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed as amended. Recognize the senator from the 23rd for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that House Bill 607 be resurrected from the table.
The senator has moved that House Bill 607 be taken from the table. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 607 by Representative Perkle of the 169th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 7 of Article 7 of Chapter 3 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to Hope scholarships and grants so as to revise the definition of Zell Miller Scholarship Scholar by changing the ACT score requirement for certain students. Committee of the Senate on Higher Education recommends that this bill do pass, respectfully submitted by Senator Hickman of the 4th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Is there objection to House Bill 607 coming off the table? Hearing none, recognize the senator from the 23rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple bill. I never like to use the word simple bill, but this is indeed a simple bill that aligns ACT scores with SAT scores for the determination of Zell Miller scholars. Periodically, the SAT recalibrates its scoring mechanism, and that requires the ACT to be coincide with the SAT. This allows the Georgia Student Finance Commission to, on an annual basis, review SAT scores and provide ACT equivalents. If there are no questions, Mr. President, I'll yield the well.
You have no questions, Senator. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objections to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there objection to the agreeing of the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none, and the report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, the main question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor will vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machines. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Recognize the senator from the 47th for a motion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. President. I move that we remove House Bill 528 from the table.
Oh, yeah. The senator has moved that we remove HB 528 from the table. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 528 by Representative Gaines of the 120th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 15 of Chapter 1 of Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to deceptive or unfair trade practices so as to enact the Georgia Online Automatic Renewal Transparency Act. The Senate Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs offers the following substitute to House Bill 528, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 15 of Chapter 1 of Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to deceptive or unfair trade practices so as to enact the Georgia Online Automatic Renewal Transparency Act. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Is there objection to this bill coming off the table? Hearing none, recognize Senator from the 47th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know the hour's getting late, so I won't take a long time. This bill is really a common sense bill, and it's one thing that it does to protect our consumers here in Georgia. There's two parts of the bill, two big pieces. The first piece is if you sign up for a subscription online, say Netflix, Spotify, something along those lines, and you do that on the internet, that you should be able to unsubscribe from that on the internet. They shouldn't have to make you come in person and do something to unsubscribe to a bill. It's a good consumer protection bill. The second part of it, and I want to thank those folks that served on the food delivery service out, the study committee that we did on that. That second part of the bill, what it actually does is it helps to protect the relationship between the restaurant, the delivery company, and the consumer. And the Restaurant Association has been working for 6 years to try to get this passed. What this bill will actually do is make sure that there's a written contract between the restaurant and the delivery company. Everybody in here has had food that's delivered to them. Sometimes it's nice and hot when it gets to you. Sometimes it's wet and soggy. What we want to try to make sure is that the restaurant doesn't go out of business because they've got a poor delivery method and a poor delivery company that's representing them. For me, all this does is make sure that there's a contract between the restaurant and the food delivery company, that nobody can go in there and pick up your food from your restaurant and deliver it wet and soggy to a customer and alienate the customer. So I'll ask for your favorable consideration on this bill. I'll yield for any questions. Please vote green.
You have no questions, Senator. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 49, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Recognize the senator from the 49th.
Mr. President, I ask for House Bill 497 to be removed from the table.
Senators move that House Bill 497 be taken from the table. Secretary, unlock the machine. Secretary, read the caption. Actually, just vote yes for it.
House Bill number 497 by Representative Elwood of the 175th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend the Title 31 of the OCGA relating to health and to authorize the use of certified medication aids and personal insinuations to provide related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for the other purposes. March 20, 2023, the Committee of the Senate on Human Health Services recommended that the bill do pass by Senator Watson of the 1st District. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Is there objection to the bill coming from the table? Hearing none, I recognize the senator from the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 497 allows state correctional institutions or private vendors providing medical service in those institutions to employ certified medication aids for the purpose of performing the technical aspects of administering certain medications. The bill, right now in Section 1, existing Georgia law allows certified nurse aides who choose to achieve further certification as certified medication aides to provide service in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. The certified medication aid status is achieved upon meeting criteria established by the Department of Community Health and is an important tool for healthcare providers to meet the needs of patients and what we all know is a challenged industry working hard to keep up with workforce shortages. House Bill 497 copies all components of previous Georgia law in terms of certification, education, and necessary supervision, and simply allows for certified nursing aides to work in state correctional institutions. As you can imagine, the hiring of sufficient healthcare workers in any environment is challenging, but doing so in a correctional environment is even more. This bill allows another tool to serve patients currently incarcerated in a state facility. I ask for your favorable consideration. I'll yield for questions.
You have no questions, Senator.
Awesome. Thanks. I ask you to vote in favor of this bill.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 51, the nays are 0. This bill, having received requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Recognize the senator from the 9th for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that HB 175 be lifted off of the table.
The senator has requested that House Bill 175 be taken from the table. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 175 by Representative Daniel of the 117th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 40-1-8 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to safe operations of motor carriers, commercial motor vehicles, and drivers and safe transportation of hazardous materials so as to update the reference date to federal regulations regarding the safe operation of motor carriers and commercial motor vehicles. The Senate Public Safety Committee offers the following substitute to House Bill 175, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 3 of Chapter 2 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to prestige license plates and special plates for certain persons and vehicles, so as to provide for the design and issuance of a distinctive license plate for state constitutional officers. Senator Dugan of the 30th offers the following amendment, Amendment 1, to amend the Senate Committee on Public Safety substitute to House Bill 175 by inserting after incorporated on line 6 the following: to amend Code Section 48-5-478 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to constitutional exemption for motor vehicle. Senator Beach of the 21st offers the following amendment, Amendment 2, to amend the Senate Committee on Public Safety substitute to House Bill 175 by inserting after definition on line 4 the following: to provide for the design of special license plates issued to the retired members of the active reserve components in the Georgia National Guard. Senator Brass of the 28th and others offer the following amendment, Amendment 3, to amend the Senate Committee on Public Safety substitute to House Bill 175 by inserting after incorporated on line 6 the following: to amend Code Section 48-5-478 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to constitutional exemption from motor vehicle ad valorem taxation. Senator Moore of the 53rd offers the following amendment, Amendment 4, to amend the Senate Committee on Public Safety substitute to House Bill 175 by inserting between lines 2 and 3 the following: provide for design standards for prestige and special license plates. Senator Moore of the 53rd offers the following amendment, Amendment 5, to amend the Senate Committee on Public Safety substitute to House Bill 175 by inserting between lines 2 and 3 the following: provide for design standards for prestige and special license plates to provide for rules and regulations. That completes the order, Mr. President.
If there's no objection, I recognize the senator from the 9th to speak to the measure.
Good evening, members. It's getting late. I'm going to try to be as short as I can, but I bring to you all HB 175. That is the Christmas tree bill, the Happy New Year bill. Everybody's getting a tag bill. As you have heard, all the amendments that we have, and I am good with all the amendments, but basically this tag gives a special license plate to constitutional officers, to Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, to Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and the amendments that you heard are included as well. And I'm asking for your favorable consideration. Please vote yes. Thank you. Mr. President, I yield the will.
I recognize the senator from the 30th to speak to the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a very straightforward bill. Disabled vets are eligible for a disabled vet tag now. That's authorized. Not all the disabilities that you see with veterans are physical. Those with a more mental-based disability are still authorized to have the tag, but it causes a lot of consternation for them when they look, a seemingly physically fit individual gets out of a car with a handicap tag. This lets them wave the ad valorem just like they would if they had the tag, but does not require them to put the disabled vet tag on the car. Any questions? I yield the well.
You have no questions, Senator. Recognize the senator from the 21st. Speak to his amendment.
This amendment simply allows the retired National Guard members to have a license plate, and it puts retired where the county is on the license plate. I'll yield the well, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 28th. Speak to his amendment.
Mr. President, members of this body, this is just a great reminder that great minds truly do think alike, because me and the senator from the 30th have the exact same amendment, and so I'm going to withdraw my amendment at the proper time.
Recognize the senator from the 53rd. Speak to his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry for the delay getting up here. This is an amendment to recognize a tag of freedom, the Gadsden flag, and as I tried to push this forward, found out that our state was a little too regulated in the sense that we couldn't put the logo in the center of the tag. So this amendment also changes the code section to whatever your livery is or your logo is on a future vanity plate. You not only have the ability to put it on the left side, but you now can put it in the middle or to the right side. So it is an amendment for freedom, and I'd yield to any questions. All right, yield the well. Thank you.
Actually, you do have a couple questions, Senator. You got a senator from the 25th. State your inquiry. Senator knows what he speaks. I recognize the senator from the 56th. You have a question for the author?
I do. Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Yield?
Yes, sir.
Senator, I'm reading both your Amendment 4 and 5. Do you realize in Amendment 4 that you're going to eliminate the special license plate for U.S. Senator, Congress, Governor, Lieutenant Governor?
No, sir, that's not the case.
I think
and
if you
you're talking about, I'm looking at Amendment 5, line 13? Sir. Line 13 says the commissioner shall be located at the left center of the right portion of the license plate. So I don't think you're looking at
Senator,
the same thing.
Senator, can I ask you for another question, please?
Yes, sir.
I think you need to look at the Senate substitute, which is LC 393873. You're asking to replace line 13, and line 13 is the beginning of Code Section 40-2-61,
okay.
replace
Well,
special license plate.
If you look at Amendment 5, when it comes to Section 2, said article is further amended related to the plates of U.S. senators. So, no, it doesn't change that.
Okay, Senator, will you further yield?
Yes, sir.
Senator, are you aware there's a process when you want to get a new license plate developed that you work with the Department of Revenue and the committee to begin that process?
Yes, sir. We did work with that, but like I said earlier, found out that they're a little too regulated. So that's what this amendment does, is it clarifies. It's one of those what we call cleanup bills, and it allows the logo to be in the center or to the right side.
Senator, isn't it true that I would be happy to work with you on a real bill, go through the process on this next year, but these are probably out of order based on where we are right now without following the process, and I think you've got some unintended consequences here?
Respectfully disagree, Senator. I think this is an amendment for freedom, and I hope you'll vote for it as you support freedom.
I do, in
Thank
the right
you.
way.
I'll yield the well, Mr. President.
Senator has yielded the well. I recognize the senator from the 56 to speak to the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. License plate bills are wonderful. I want to thank the senator from the 9th and certainly the 30th, the 28th, and the 21st. There's a process we go through for license plates here that begin with committee, working with the Department of Revenue to make sure these are done in an orderly way. I think while I very much respect my colleague who is seeking to amend with 4 and 5. Part of it is amended inaccurately and will probably cause some unintended consequence to the rest of the bill. And the second one, again, did not follow the process. So I think it's important we vote for the bill and Amendment 1, 2, and 3. And I will commit to my senator from the mountains that will work on 4 and 5 next year. But I'd ask you to vote down Amendments 4 and 5. Thank you. I yield the well.
Recognize the senator from the 28th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator from the 56, you helped me eliminate GORC, and if we need to eliminate the license plate GORC, we will be doing that. So it does not need to go through the process. Support his thing so he can put it up in the northwest quadrant of his license plate.
Senator from the 53rd, for what purpose do you rise?
Mr. President, I would like to withdraw Amendment 4 and just stick with Amendment 5.
Senator is asking to withdraw Amendment 4. Is there objection? No objections. Amendment 4 is withdrawn. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. All right, the question is on the amendments. On Amendment 1, authored by the senator from the 30th. Is there objection to Amendment 1? Without objection, Amendment 1 is adopted. On Amendment 2, authored by the senator from the 21st, is there objection to Amendment 2? Is there objection to Amendment 2? Hearing none, Amendment 2 is adopted. On Amendment 3, authored by the senator from the 28th. Hold on. I recognize the senator from the 28th. What purpose do you rise, Senator?
Mr. President, I would like to ask for unanimous consent to withdraw Amendment 3.
Senator from the 28th is asked to withdraw Amendment 3. Is there objection to that? Without objection, the amendment is withdrawn. Last amendment is Amendment 5, authored by the senator from the 53rd. Is there objection to the? We do have objection. All those in favor of the amendment will vote yea. All those opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the adoption of amendment, the yeas are 14 and the nays are 36, and this amendment has failed. So now we're on the underlining bill as amended. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute as amended? Hearing none, the committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to report a committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. This will require a 2/3 vote. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 51 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. I recognize the senator from the 56 for a motion.
Mr. President, I'd ask unanimous consent that Senate Rule 2-2.3b be suspended to allow for a conference committee report to be considered.
The motion to suspend the Senate rules to allow for a conference committee report. Secretary, read the caption.
Committees of Conference substitute to House Bill 142, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to campus policemen so as to provide for the establishment of unified campus police forces through agreements entered into by colleges and universities. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 56.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to withdraw my motion.
Without objection, your motion is withdrawn. Now, I'll call on you for HB 219.
Thank you again, Mr. President. I had asked unanimous consent that House Bill 219 be removed from the table.
Senators requested HB 219 be removed from the table. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 219 by Representative Hilton of the 48th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 11 of Chapter 1 of Title 7 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to records and reports of currency transactions, so as to provide for revenue for the offense of money laundering, to provide for legislative findings. The Committee of the Senate on Judiciary recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted by Senator Strickland as 17th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the. Was there objection to taking it off the table? Good. Recognize the senator from the 56.
Thank you, Mr. President. This might be one of the easiest bills of the day. House Bill 19 simply moves the venue for money laundering to where the actual crime and victim are versus the perpetrator. I'd ask for your favorable consideration. There are no questions. I'll yield the well.
You have no questions, Senator. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor will vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Just stand at ease for a few minutes. if I can get everybody's attention real quick, I wanted to take an opportunity and recognize a couple of special ladies here. I don't know, for me, you've been around here a good while. We had Nancy Ray, who ran our PAGE program for 29 years for the Senate, and did a great job for us. She obviously, during the COVID days, she decided she would go ahead and retire, and we were sorry to see her go. But we had the hardest time finding people to replace Nancy, and then all of a sudden these two young ladies came around, Alana Buckhart and Kim Campbell, and yeah, give them a big round of applause. And they have done an outstanding job, and we just want to thank you from the bottom of our heart, because I don't think people realize how hard it is to organize a bunch of 13, 14, and 15-year-olds and do it seamlessly and have them having a good time in an orderly manner. And we just want to thank y'all for everything you do, and we appreciate y'all taking on this role. So thank y'all very much, and let's give them another round of applause. All right, we're going to try to knock out, the governor is going to be coming to visit the chambers here in a little bit, and we're going to try to knock out one bill before he gets here. So I want to recognize the senator from the 20th for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to remove House Bill 294 from the table.
The senator has moved that the House Bill 294 be removed from the table. Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 294 by Representative Deloach of the 167th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 3 of Chapter 37 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to procedure for rehabilitation so as to provide for the administration of contracts reassuring life, disability, income, or long-term care policies. The Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor offers the following substitute to House Bill 294. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 3 of Chapter 37 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, relating to procedure for rehabilitation so as to provide for the administration of contracts reassuring life, disability, income, health, or long-term care policies or annuities. Sarah Walker of the 20th offers the following Amendment 1 to amend the Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor substitute to House Bill 294 by striking Article 3 of Chapter 37 of on lines 1 and 12 and by replacing procedure for rehabilitation with insurance on lines 2 and 13. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Without objection, I recognize the senator from the 20th.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. We are overstocked with insurance bills, and we're running a special, limited time only, 2 for 1. 2 for 1, but it's limited time. House Bill 294 is a NAIC, National Association of Insurance Commissioners update bill. Has to do with reinsurance and what happens if the insurance company that is being reinsured, the Georgia Domestic Insurance Company, is placed into liquidation. And it just spells out that the seeding company can keep the reinsurance, or it spells out how that will work. The second deal that I have for you is similar to a bill we passed last year, where we have anti-rebating statute on the books for insurance companies, so you can't induce somebody to buy an insurance policy. Last year we passed a bill to allow property and casualty companies to give their customer a de minimis value, a gift or a product of de minimis value to help reduce losses. This second bill that is combined here for this one-day special is for life insurance companies. If they want to give you, for example, a blood pressure cuff, or maybe a pulse rate monitor, something not of exceeding value, this would allow that. So buy now while you have the opportunity and vote green. I yield the well.
Senators yielded the wells. Any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hearing none. Is there objections to the previous question being ordered? Chair hearing none. The previous question is ordered. The question is on adoption of Amendment 1. Is there objection to adoption of Amendment 1? Without objection, Amendment 1 is adopted. Question is on the adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute as amended? Hearing none, the committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 49 and the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, the Honorable Brian P. Kemp, Governor of the great state of Georgia, awaits entrance into this chamber.
Mr. Sergeant at Arms. Mr. Sergeant at Arms, please escort the first family to the roster. It is with great honor that the governor of our great state has come to see us on day 40 tonight, and I just want to thank him for his leadership, thank him for his partnership, and helping us with so many different measures that we've been trying to get done during this legislative session. Let's give a warm Senate welcome to the 83rd governor of the great state of Georgia, the Honorable Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp.
Governor Jones. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Jones. I think he was wanting to call me by the Senator of the 46, but I know we have a replacement back there. But it's great to be in my old stomping grounds. I want to thank Lieutenant Governor for having me tonight. I also just want to thank President Pro Tem Kennedy, Majority Leader Gooch, Minority Leader Butler, and the members of the Senate. We are honored to be with you on this very busy night. You know, just 3 short months ago, the General Assembly, in the last 3 short months, the General Assembly has tackled many tough issues and have worked hard on measures that have come before you. When we began this session, we did so as partners. And I was proud to stand by the Lieutenant Governor, then Speaker Jan Jones, and Speaker nominee Burns as we laid out a vision to help hardworking Georgians fight through 40-year high inflation with a second income tax refund, a homestead tax exemption, pay raises for our educators and state law enforcement, and many other things. And I'm grateful that together we have delivered on those promises. On behalf of all Georgians, I want to thank you for that. But also want to thank you for your ongoing support in the fight against human trafficking, led by Marty Kemp and the members of the Grace Commission. We are grateful. Thank you. We are grateful, like in years past, the human trafficking bill received bipartisan support from members of both chambers. And I know that Marty is very grateful for all of those who supported that measure this year. With your help, we've also secured legislation and funding that will make our schools even safer, something that I know we are all thankful for following this week's tragic events, as well as bills that crack down on both gang recruitment and the recent trend of local prosecutors being unwilling to follow the law and protect our communities. I'd like to thank the members of the Senate for their support of the amended fiscal year 2023 budget, which funds critical priorities in our state. For much of this session, the partnership and thoughtful coordination between the Senate, the House, and my office has benefited the great people of our state. That cooperation and teamwork is what the voters wanted when they overwhelmingly supported us at the ballot box last November. As you remember that I mentioned in my inaugural address, the people of the state gave us all their marching orders. But our work this legislative session, as you all know, is not done. First and foremost, while both chambers have passed the fiscal year budget or soon will, I think it's important for me to say tonight that the recent news from the Federal Reserve and others suggest there may be storm clouds on our nation's economic horizon. Additionally, there are significant holes in this year's final budget that my office will need to work closely with you all, the House, and the Office of Plan and Budget to address in the coming months. As we have done in years past, our job is to make the tough decisions necessary to keep the financial health of this state on sound footing. And I believe that there remains work to be done after the session to conclude and achieve that goal. Secondly, I would like to ask for your favorable consideration of House Bill 408, legislation focused on projects of regional significance. Simply put, this is the most effective tool Georgia has to remain the top state for business as we compete with other states for major economic development projects. The voters of our state spoke clearly just a few short months ago. They all wanted us to keep working to bring good-paying jobs to their communities, both urban and rural. I look forward to working with you all the rest of the night to pass House Bill 408 to ensure that we do not have to return to the Gold Dome before the current law sunsets on July 1st. In closing, I want to reiterate something each of you have probably heard me say before. Our record of success as a state is thanks to the teamwork that has happened in this building for many years. We've been through a lot together, as you all know. We've had to make tough decisions and even tougher times. We've led this state through unprecedented challenges to brighter and more prosperous days. But I firmly believe that Georgia's success in the future will lean on our ability to continue to work as a team. I hope you all know here that I am committed to that work, and I look forward to all that we will accomplish by doing that together on behalf of the state in the years to come. We know that in this building there's always been disagreements to overcome, and there will no doubt be contentious issues that we have to work through again. But that is why we're here, to lead, to work together, and to leave this place better than we found it. And with you all's support and continued hard work tonight and in the years to come, that is exactly what we will do. Good luck the rest of the way. God bless you, and God bless the state of Georgia. Thank you for having me.
Let's give the first family, Marty and the girls back there in the back, let's give them a big round of applause too. And we do greatly appreciate the governor making time to stop by and visit with us this evening. And we have had a good session with the executive branch, so we greatly appreciate them and appreciate their partnership. Very much thankful. So, Senate will stand at ease for a few more minutes so we can line up our next set of bills.